Hello, I think we have several people already. Let's say we wait another 2 or 3 minutes and we can get started. Okay, I think we hit the 20 attendees.
The targeted number. It seems that we have a pretty good crowd today. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We are very excited to be hosting our first VMware AUBG virtual event. And today we are going to talk about career journeys. And more specifically, we'll share our personal stories, which started at AUBG and have translated through different paths to a career at VMware. We'll talk about what is it like to land your dream non-tech job in a tech giant such as VMware. But before we kick it off, the idea of this webinar is really to make it as interactive as possible. And in the Zoom webinar, we have a few features that we wanted to get you familiar with. We have a Q&A box, so please feel free to submit your questions, and we'll leave the last 15 minutes of today's presentation for a Q&A session. The raise hand option will also come in handy as we ask questions on our end and really try to make this a two-way discussion. And finally, we have a couple of pre-built surveys, which I think are already launched and active under the poll feature in the webinar. And we would really appreciate your participation in those. Feedback is anonymous. So let me start by introducing the panelists today. My name is Steffi, AUBG class of 2012, and I'm a senior financial analyst at VMware Bulgaria. We also have Sevi, class of 2014, and Sevi is a senior business intelligence analyst. And last but not least, we have Denny, class of 2015, and Denny is a senior data science analyst. Before we dive in, we wanted just to take a minute on the unique times that we live in right now. In many ways, it feels that the world turned upside down overnight. And to me personally, it seems that 2020 is the year that got canceled. Lockdowns, virtual semesters, working from home, and really being away from your network of friends and families is probably tough to all of us. But regardless of this, it has been inspiring to see the world come together and help fight this pandemic. Whether it's the biologists, the engineers, the medics, or even your supermarket staff, among many of the other countless roles. And when we think about the future, the challenges are likely to be severe. But I believe that you would all agree that if we learn the right lessons, we can emerge not weaker, but stronger and actually better equipped to deal with the risks that the future might hold for us. And now to really kick it off in a proper way, with Sevi and Denny, we spent some time searching for videos made by college students in a time of quarantine. So we'll play a very short video, and I hope that you guys relate to this. It really is a short one, and then we'll go back to the presentation.
I hope it makes more sense. Okay, so you have something. Okay, Professor, go ahead. Type your question. What is it? Of course, you can go to the bathroom. Yes, you can. Okay.
Okay, so we're hoping that we'll get different questions than this one. Please feel free to use the restroom throughout the presentation, although we're hoping that we'll manage to keep you interested in this conversation. So going back to the discussion, this has been a hot topic for the three of us over the past few months. And we really had a full start. We had to change the format and the timing quite a few times, but we are extremely excited to be hosting this webinar today. And really as strong believers in the talent pool at AUBG and true ambassadors for what VMware stands for as an employer, we are hoping that you'll leave today's discussion interested in starting your professional journey. Ideally, we were hoping to have the event as a live presentation in Blago. And as you can see, I am sitting in front of one of the buildings on the campus. So Sevi and Denny are very jealous at the moment, but I believe that you would all agree with me that for anyone at AUBG or anyone that has been part of AUBG, Blago will be one of those places that you would always be happy to go back to. And not only because it's the home of AUBG, not to mention it's the home of Underground, but more importantly, it's the place where we all have created great memories and built friendships for life. So now I will start with my story, and then I'll pass it on to Sevi and Denny, because even though we do share a lot in common, our journeys at AUBG and VMware have been quite different. Some background information on me. I graduated in 2012 on a very sunny, hot May day. And this is a picture from my commencement ceremony. It looks like, it really feels like this picture was taken yesterday, because I still remember all the emotions and the sleepless nights in that final week. I graduated with a double major in business administration and economics and a concentration in finance and accounting. Which back in my days was a classic combination. So how many people do we have on the meeting today who are majoring in business administration or economics? Okay, good.
Yeah, you can use the raise hand button. Okay.
Perfect. Awesome.
Wow. Steffi, you got
So,
your crowd here.
So you guys probably will relate the most to my story. So despite the many long nights working on yet another corporate finance project, the numerous papers, having to balance between classes and parties, I loved every single minute at AUBG. And like in any other community, the greatest asset at AUBG is its people and culture. It is because of the opportunity to interact with people from different cultures, sharing different interests, having the chance to communicate with alumni that actually entering my final year at AUBG, I already had a clear idea of how to start my professional career. And for me, the natural first step into the business world was a Big Four company and a career in the field of financial audit. So how many of you are thinking about joining a Big Four company after AUBG? Let's see if that's still okay. Good, so I'll ask that same question after my presentation. A short 3 months after graduation and a dozen of interviews later, I started my first job at PwC as an audit associate. And right from the beginning, I felt that I fit in because being part of PwC felt in many aspects like AUBG. You're surrounded by young, ambitious professionals. You have a lot of tight deadlines to deal with. You get to work with different people on different projects. And it was an extremely valuable experience to me personally. However, when we think of a job, there's always two perspectives, right? And in my view, and having the chance to work in that industry, I wanted to share a few pros and cons which come with a career in a Big Four company. So here's my take on those. When we think about the pros or the advantages of working in a Big Four company, the three things that really come to my mind are people, onboarding programs, and growth opportunities. Big Four companies across the world manage to attract highly intelligent, motivated, and supporting people. And you can always count on your peers to help. This really is even more important when you have to work very, very extended hours sometimes. So it definitely makes those work days much more enjoyable. When we think about onboarding programs, even though this might be something that you're not considering at the moment, it really plays a crucial role in the early career of any professional. And from my experience at PwC, I would have to admit that it was probably a genius who came up with the way they onboard new people there, because from day one, they really make you bond with your peers and create a culture in which you always have someone to lean on when you need. Growth opportunities. I'm assuming that's something that is on your top list of priorities when you're searching for a job. And it's no secret that a career in a Big Four company or in that specific industry can help you in many ways, whether you're thinking for a long-term career development in the Big Four company, or whether you're using this as a step toward your dream job. But in order to really make an educated decision on how and where to start your career, there's always some drawbacks that you need to take into account. And from my personal experience, if I had to list the top 3 disadvantages of working in that industry, I would have to say that those are the busy season, extended hours, compensation, and the high turnover. So I'm assuming that those of you who have been thinking about joining a Big Four company, you've come across the busy season term. Well, from my experience there, it really felt like a busy year. And the busy season, extended hours, and sometimes having to work on weekends is probably considered the main disadvantage of working in this industry. And while this might not be an issue for you in your early career, it definitely weighs in as years pass by. So keep in mind work-life balance when you make those decisions. Compensation could be better. Yes, that's no secret. So if you take into account the real hourly rate when all the extended hours are considered, this is something that can easily become demotivated in the long run. And last but not least, my take on the disadvantages in this industries would be the high turnover. And firms in Big Four companies are often understaffed, and this can have a very heavy impact, especially during the season. So 3 years into my career at PwC, I decided that I needed to make a shift from analyzing a business from a compliance perspective to actually have a more active role into a business or the decision-making processes. And this is when I decided to join one of the largest gas station retailers in the country as part of their business operations and finance controlling team. The role had a lot of diversity in terms of responsibilities and gave me a lot of exposure with people from the highest levels within the management hierarchy. I had the chance to work with the CEO, CFO, and the various directors of the company departments. And it really allowed me to put a lot of the theoretical knowledge gained at AUBG and my previous work experience into practice. And yet you might think, or you might ask, why am I not part of that company anymore? And instead I'm here as a VMware ambassador. The answer is long, but if I have to put it into words, it would be company culture. So having struggled with the rigid company culture for some time, I needed a fresh start. And I came across a job opening at VMware Bulgaria a few years ago. And from my understanding or knowledge at the time, this was one of the best places to work for if you were a software developer. So seeing a finance opening definitely caught my attention. I applied, successfully went through the process, and in December 2016, I joined as a financial analyst, supporting the company's global customer operations business unit. And if I go back to 2016, the Sofia office was mostly known as one of the main R&D hubs in EMEA, and is one of the 3 strategic R&D centers for VMware from a global perspective. From a business operations standpoint, the team was approximately 40 people at the time, working in various finance functions, advanced analytics, or data science roles. And there was pretty much no business or sales operations representation in Sofia. A year later into my VMware journey, I was promoted to a senior financial analyst, supporting the company's renewals organization. And just to give you some perspective, this organization contributes for about 1/3 of the company annual revenue. In a nutshell, my work translates into being a trusted financial advisor to the leaders of the VMware renewals organization. And from a day-to-day perspective, it means being a finance partner by playing a key role in the planning and forecasting processes to really support the investment and resourcing decisions of the leaders. From a more strategic standpoint, my work involves defining and tracking critical KPIs to the business to help them manage performance and drive decisions, understanding and communicating financial results and trends to the business leader. So fast forwarding to today, 3 years later into my VMware career journey, the Sofia business operations team has grown tremendously. We have approximately 150 people supporting multiple business units and stakeholders across the globe. And what has been extremely motivating is that the team has earned the reputation of a highly valuable business partner. And we do get to work on various key roles in many of the strategic projects of the company. So if I have to look back on my combined work experience, and if I think about my VMware journey, I strongly believe that job number 3 is the lucky one for me. And here's my take on why. If I think about VMware, the main things which really make it an amazing place to work for are several. I'll start with the laid-back corporate culture and transparency. So if you think about VMware and the size of a company with more than $10 billion annual revenue, the culture at VMware is really laid back. And to many people, it feels like a startup. The ability to communicate directly with senior directors, VPs, and SVPs in an informal and accessible way, to me, to a great extent, resembles AUBG culture. And something else that really stood out for me day one in the company is that employees, regardless of their rank in the hierarchy, have very well established and easy accessible channels on getting up to date with the company's strategy, outlooks, and performance. So the next great thing about VMware is having the opportunity to play a key role in strategic processes and projects. So never in those 3 years have I felt in a way that I am part of a back office, even though a lot of the teams are not based in Sofia, and we have people who are based either in California, India, Costa Rica, etc. So I've always had the opportunity to present my work to key stakeholders, whether this was my manager in Sofia, the senior director in Palo Alto, California, or the vice president of the organization that I support. And to me, that has been extremely motivating and really kept me going in the last few years. So touching on the international teams, VMware, being a company of its size with more than 30,000 employees around the globe, really allows you to connect with people from various cultures and backgrounds. And this is something that I find very similar to AUBG. And I think it's one of the things that I value the most about VMware. Another great positive about working for a company with multiple locations around the globe is really the opportunity for business travels. And you'll see a small selection of the pictures that I have with my extended team in Palo Alto. But I still remember my first trip to the company headquarters, which was in my first year at VMware. And what really motivated me at that time was the chance to meet firsthand some of the top leaders of the finance organization. And I actually had the opportunity to sit in the same room during a business review meeting with the company chief accounting officer and the VP of finance. Last but not least, VMware is an amazing place to work for because it gives you a lot of flexibility. Very similar to how at AUBG you have the option to select which lecturer or professor you would like to sign up, VMware is a company that allows you to work with flexible working hours. And whether this for you is the option to take a call from home or get a break in between meetings at the gym, everyone is really an owner of their own time. So this was my story and my view on what makes VMware a great place to work for. And even if you're looking at a career which is non-tech. Now I'll pass it on to Sevi, who will share her journey from AUBG to VMware and her view on what makes that journey a success story.
Thank you, Steffi. So, hello everyone. As you can see, I'm dressed up ready for an AUBG presentation. And just to touch upon the commencement day, as Steffi also did, it's a funny story that I wore my hat, I think, the entire day after the commencement. Even during the celebrations, even during going back home, I went through the whole city with my hat on, and my mom was laughing at me and was asking me why I keep wearing it. And I said, this is probably the only day I'm gonna wear it, so I'm gonna wear it for the full day. So little I knew that probably I would be wearing it once again during a presentation at VMware, at least a virtual one. So hello everyone once again. I'm Severina. I graduated in 2014 in majoring in business administration and European studies and minoring in political sciences. And right now I'm working as a senior business intelligence analyst at VMware. So just like Steffi, let me just move on. So just like Steffi, I'm also from Blagoevgrad. So growing up around AUBG, I always knew I would be studying there, and I think that that was definitely a great decision now looking back. At AUBG, I built a pretty ambitious curriculum for myself, taking all of the courses in these 2 majors and 1 minor. And I believe that this decision developed both my business knowledge and my more humanitarian and analytical skills. Even though my majors were completely different from each other, I believe they worked out very well together. On top of that, I participated in 2 clubs. I was the marketing manager at a startup at Blagoevgrad and general manager at Radio Aura. And the time there was absolutely unforgettable for me. It taught me a lot about communication, about building a team, about good planning, about team spirit, building a well-structured goals for the team and for myself, and also taking responsibility when I'm entrusted with the team's goals and tasks. I strongly recommend it to anyone who is still probably wondering whether to jump in any of the clubs there. There's so many options and opportunities, so definitely choose one, pick one, explore, dedicate to it, because I really believe it pays off in time. So after university, my experience is a little bit different than Steffi's. After graduating, I applied for an internship position at VMware, and I have been working there for the past 5 years. This is my only job. So at first, I didn't know what to expect. I was a little bit confused. What are going to be my first steps on the big market? And with my various experience in the clubs and university, I thought that I'm all ready to dive in the big working world. and probably that's why the internship at VMware was really suitable for me. So at, during the internship, probably the thing that really caught my attention was the fact that I was entitled with a 6 months long project. So 50% of my time was entirely dedicated to it. And it was a brand new project for the team. My input and work was extremely valuable for the progress of the team itself. The output of my project actually is still used in the company for top management reporting. So I was the owner of the project, and hence I had the opportunity to shape the result and the pace of the project according to my own vision. I believe that this gave me a lot of freedom, but also a lot of responsibility in the same time. So on top of that, it was a paid internship, which came in as a great bonus in my opinion. So around the end of my internship, as my project and overall performance was evaluated very good, I was offered a full-time employee position. In general, VMware is trying to keep the good talents and that started through the internship program, and then further develop them. So at the end of my internship, I went to the new college grad summit. You can see it here in this picture. So this new college grad summit was in Palo Alto. So I had the opportunity to meet a lot of leaders of the company there and present the result of my project to some of them. There I met also a lot of other interns or new college grads just like me. So this summit was, as I said, in Palo Alto, and it was around Halloween. So popular thing that VMware does is that they make a Halloween, very, very big Halloween party in the campus and organize a concert. This year it was Nick Jonas concert. You can see the picture here. So the whole experience of meeting my colleagues in person, presenting the results of my project, and also going to this super cool party was an amazing experience for me. So in the picture on the right, you can see that 5 years later, I got the opportunity to be the mentor of our intern last year. Let me see. Let me just ensure that you can see the picture good. So as interns are entitled with the project, they also have a dedicated mentor who would help them along the way. So this is another success story in our team, and Kalina, the girl here on the left, was also converted to full-time employee after her internship. So at VMware, I get the opportunity to work with absolutely amazing and extremely knowledgeable people with great team spirit, which reminded me a lot about the overall culture and spirit at AUBG. We are working on various and often changing projects, and I'm building visual dashboards and diagrams illustrating financial KPIs. These KPIs and dashboards are helping leaders get to insightful information and take data-driven decisions. Our stakeholders, the stakeholders of our organization internally are internal, so we partner with various VMware teams, just like, let's say, finance, sales, the team of mergers and acquisitions, revenue, and so forth. So for example, to give you some details around my work, I work on a project with Steffi, actually on several projects, and we are building the reporting infrastructure for her to be able to perform the financial analysis. So we are using Microsoft SQL, Tableau, SAP HANA's VMware for building reports and analysis of our financial performance. So this is in a nutshell how our positions are related. So besides working, you can see here several pictures of our business trips. I have been 4 or 5 times to Palo Alto. So here on the right, you can see a picture of my colleagues in San Francisco. And this is a super cool car that we got the chance to drive around town. This is a meeting room that we had during a presentation of launching a very big project. And I've been twice already in Costa Rica. This is our team going to a forest jungle in Costa Rica. So besides traveling and working there and making your presence in another country worthy, we also have fun, as you can guess. So I think the last stop that I wanted to make here is one of the programs that VMware is really proud of. So this is the Take One program, which is through which actually VMware is sponsoring educational courses or conferences that you would like to attend. They are all related to my professional knowledge, of course. So people with experience at least 1 year in the company become eligible to apply for up to $5,000 funding per year for your education. So I have been a great fan of this program, and I have already been to the Tableau conference in Berlin last year. I have participated in the mini MBA program at Pricewaterhouse and the design thinking camp in Sofia. So VMware is really trying to invest a lot of sources in education and empowering the colleagues. So let's move on to the third panelist here and hear her story with the same start and same finish, I think. But the way there is a little bit different.
Thanks, Sevi. All right. So hi everyone, my name is Denitsa, and today I'm going to be the third final path for today for you from AUBG to VMware. So I have finished Math and Eco at the AUBG, again double majoring, as most of you would do. I would say it's not that common combination as those two colleagues have done, but I really found it useful. I'm as well analyst at VMware. However, you can actually notice that the three of us were analysts, right? But the similarity goes just for the title. Sevi and Steffi, they have already given you some snippets of what they are doing as their work responsibilities. I will do that in a minute. Actually, it's very connected to my education. But before I do that, let me just quickly remind you that there are several polls down there so that you can vote. And one of the questions is exactly related to future sessions that we are going to have. It's going to be more like labs or hands-on experience. So your request would be most wanted so that we know what you would like to have. All right. So about my education. So on top of having those two double majors, as Sevi has said already, we have been part of radio, and especially we have with directors there. I think that this combination between the three things, it was extraordinary stepping stone for my future education, because it gave me the business understanding from firsthand. That's something that you won't learn from any course book or in any classroom. So unlike Steffi or Sevi, I was completely not sure what to do with my life at my senior year. So are there any people like me, like back then when I was young and dinosaurs were going around? Oh, hi, I have one, hey. Wow, 2, cool, 3, wow, okay. People are just piling up. Okay, well, to be honest, I decided to go for master in machine learning in Barcelona. Just quick note, what is machine learning for those of you who doesn't know? That's statistical patterns and how to implement it on real data so that you can gain some insights, automate processes, and so on. If you ask me why I decided in the end to go for master, well, I had 2 reasons. Reason number 1, it's because I knew I didn't want to lose my studying momentum. And reason number 2, it's because I knew that if I go for the life of having paycheck at the end of the month, it's going to be quite difficult to revert back to being the student and having the student life. Did it work out for me? Was it the best decision? I would say yes, for me it was. Why? Well, because what I've studied, it was not just continuation, right? It wasn't just economics again or mathematics again. It was built on what I had as a stepping stone from AUBG. And additionally, it gave me quite a good competitive advantage on the job market. So I told you that it's quite connected to what I'm doing, right? So in VMware, even though I'm analyst as a title, what I'm doing is basically I'm a data scientist or I'm a practitioner of machine learning. Especially in the VMware context, currently, if you're asking me what I'm doing, I'm trying to find topics from our customer questions. So like every big company, we have a lot of tickets, and what I'm trying to find out, and my team is trying to find out mainly, is to find topics or the most common things that people are having. So we have a lot of tickets. It's more than 100,000, sorry. So it's quite a lot, and we need analytics and intelligence behind it. All right, so enough what I'm doing. We're gonna have that in case if you like to have a further session, sorry. But what you can see on the bottom, very big, nice photo is my team. We are sitting on our brand new office in Sofia, and it's extremely cool office. As Steffi said, I was thinking that it's going to be just one cubicle surrounding me, and I'm just going to go there and then type things and not doing anything. But I was proven wrong. It was previous office was pretty cool, but this one is even better. We have really nice sofas, as you can see. We have even the vinyl machine. It's pretty extraordinary office. Additionally, what I can add is that with the current situation, we're not able to enjoy that much. But the good part is that we can work from home. You can see me, I'm in my kitchen, right? Pretty close to the coffee machine, my favorite place, in my apartment, and in VMware as well. So it's pretty nice that we can actually work from home as good as working from office, even though office has its advantages as free coffee and free foods as well. Okay, so let me go back a little bit to my team. Even though it's also international, as Steffi's and Sevi's one, we have quite unique feature of having multiple take 2 and 3 positions across the team. What exactly is take 2 and take 3? Well, it's kind of continuation of what Sevi was saying about take 1. So you are eligible for these 2 if you are 2 or 3 years respectively in the company. And it gives you the opportunity to be part of a different team and learn there for 6 or 3 months. So for example, I can go to Steffi's team, or Sevi can go to my team, so that we can learn from experience, because that's another way of learning, right? That's what we have been discussing. And additionally, what I can say is that this definitely kind of reminds me to the dogmas of the liberal arts system, because we all have all our majors, but we are taking different courses, right? We can take arts, we can take music, and so on, because this broadens our horizon. This is what forms us as a human and as professionals. All right, well, another parallel which I can make between AUBG and VMware is the semi-academic atmosphere we have. We have quite a lot of conferences, being those external or internal. For example, VMworld, the photo that you see on the top, is the biggest customer-facing conference that we have. And radio, even though it's not Radio Aura, it's you can see people they still want to talk to me. All right, so radio is conference research and development innovation offsite, which is located in Palo Alto. It's really cool, and I had the opportunity to be part of those two. Really unique experience. And the third thing, which I'm going to cover on this slide, is about XLab. Well, XLab is kind of the equivalent of startup in the VMware world. So if you have a really cool idea and you wanted to see if it's actually, you can pull it off, you can write a business proposal. It should be very thorough because it goes through multiple reviews. But if you got accepted, you can have up to 10K funding for bringing your idea to life. And you can also open an internship position and get that money for the interns, right? Because we get paid, or interns get paid at VMware. All right, maybe quickly we can go to the next one so that we have more time for questions. And guys, don't feel shy, ask questions if you have on the Q&A box down there. All right, so the last thing which I'm gonna cover today is just allusion back to the culture that we have at VMware, which quite represents the AUBG culture in terms of caring and sharing, caring for each other and sharing with community. We have the so-called service learning hours, or it's the volunteering that we can do for 1 year. We have 40 working hours that we can donate to different causes. And if you complete those 40 hours, you have $600 to donate to a different campaign that you would like to subsidize. You don't need to change the world or boil the ocean with all of that. Even small things matter, right? The photo that you can see on your right is, this is Sevi, as you can see. And it's one of our initiatives of adopting avocados. Gorata PG had many avocados which were left without home. So VMware Office became their home. It was a really nice event. As well as we have done a lot of arts and crafts, what you can see on the other graph. Occupational hazard, guys. So on the other photo. So what we are doing usually during Christmas and during Baba Marta, we have bazaars, and then we donate those money that we get to different causes. So to wrap it up, I could say that even though we come from different paths, me, Steffi, and Sevi, we anchored at VMware, for we found the same AUBG spirit, which we were striving to find after graduation. And if you want to see what are our new job opportunities or internship opportunities, you can go and visit this website, and we can have another path for you, right? Coming from AUBG to VMware could be a different story for you. So now we are gonna start answering questions. Let's see what we have here. Well,
thank you, Dani. If I open the Q&A box here, is it visible for everyone, or is it visible just for me?
No, just for you.
Okay, good. Anyway.
It's okay.
So the first question is, will VMware accept interns this summer? What will be the workflow like considering the current situation? I think I can take this one. So at this point, I think we have two VMware intern positions for this summer, or at least talking from the perspective of non-technical positions. The first one is in our team, so the business intelligence analyst team. The second one is in Denny's team, more on the advanced analytics side. The workflow at this point, at least looking from the perspective of today, we're going to try to accommodate the best experience for our interns, but from as of now, we are going to be working from home. The official guidance in our company is that we are encouraged to work from home up till the 17th of May. Of course, this date might change, it might be extended, but as of now, the onboarding, the potential onboarding and working will probably from home. Of course, things are extremely dynamic. This might change. Probably returning to the office might be optional, but this is what we know as of now. Okay, so the second question is very similar. It's again, do you know if the internship programs for this summer are still on track or they're stopped because of the pandemic? They're still on track, super active. If you go to the website that you see here, I think you would see the link to our open positions, both full-time employee and internship positions. But it's good to know that usually for senior students are usually applying for these positions, especially having in mind that in normal situation, when people are in the university, they are in Blagoevgrad and the offices are in Sofia. We have another question. I'm just gonna ask whether Vili is still on the line because this one is the question is whether thank you very much for the amazing presentation. I was wondering if there are any marketing internship opportunities now at VMware. Vili, are you on the line? Yep.
Yeah, I think that Viri from HR is not here, so I'll take this one. Okay. So currently we don't have any marketing internship opportunities at VMware Bulgaria. But if you're open for relocation or travel, you can try VMware careers site and see what we have in EMEA.
Thank you, Ina. The next question is, how would you shortly describe the main differences between the positions of the three of you? Again, probably I can take it up here since I'm working partially with both with Deni and Steffi. So from data perspective, my position is more oriented on building dashboards and looking a little bit backwards. So I'm trying to analyze what is our current performance as of up to the day-to-day. And I'm helping by providing the data and the dashboards to Steffi so that she can perform her financial analysis. On the other side, when I'm working with Deni, we're working on a project where I'm helping her gather both the raw data, so the financial data from our database. So what has already happened, and on this basis, Dani is able to perform her propensity models, forecasting models, so that she can build a plan on what potentially might happen in the future. So I think that's my side. Dani and Steffi, if you want to add something.
So I think on my end, my role is really finance oriented. So it's a financial analyst position. And a lot, as I mentioned during my part of the presentation, a lot of the things that we do from a reporting or analysis standpoint is based on financial information. And a lot of the times that the product of those analysis or reports are used internally by various stakeholders within VMware, such as, let's say, the top management of different business units or the executive team at VMware overall. But there's, to an extent, this is also used in terms of external reporting that VMware provides to the market, or to the analysts.
I think that Steffi quite well summarized what is the difference between her team and my team. I can just only add that we have a lot of, if you are applying for a position that is within more advanced analytics in data science, you should have coding skills. So because in the company, we're not using predefined tools or drag and drop software for modeling. That's what I can answer on top of that.
Okay, I think the next one is for me, if I'm not mistaken.
This is Severina, so let's go.
Yep. So what skills helped you get into business intelligence since you majored in Eurobus and POS? So actually, I think the business side was more helpful for me, more directly helpful for me, especially the finance courses, because they were directly related to what I was doing. I'm business intelligence analyst, but I'm predominantly working with finance teams at this point. Right now, our team is extending the scope, and we are trying to work with a wider audience, but predominantly I was working with finance, and that was from day one. I think even before, when I got into VMware, I was with a more financial heavy description. So the position was more financial heavy, on not that business intelligence. And to be honest, the business intelligence elements in my position now are something that I built during my career at VMware. Just the financial knowledge, knowing the business elements were something that helped me do my first steps, but the business intelligence was something that I excelled at predominantly at VMware. When it comes to Euro and POS, I think something that they help me with is at least I'm trying to clearly describe my thoughts and and the projects that I'm working on. As a business intelligence analyst, besides purely doing the technical side, I'm also trying to have more of a project leader or a task leader position. So I'm working always in partnering with another team, and I'm trying to be the negotiator or the mediator between these two teams, and really try to translate their needs into our technical world and our technical knowledge and possibilities to their financial needs. So how I'm trying to be the mediator of and describe how we can really cooperate and help each other. So I think these were the predominantly strong sides that I really got from AUBG. And also, this probably counts for everyone. At VMware, whoever has joined the team from AUBG, the rest of the people are saying you all have something in common, and that is a really strong confidence, and not just high nosy and being super confident without any strong skills, but knowing who you are and knowing that you're worthy and having this confidence, and it can really be seen. And this is not something that we acquire in a major or minor. This is just AUBG in general, I think. Okay, moving on. So as former AUBG students, can you give some advice about doing and choosing internships for the summer? Did you do internships only after the senior year? I did. So I was after senior year, and most people that I see in our team join the team after their senior year. But some of them, after their senior year, they go to master in Sofia, and they can work on. They can both work and study. So this is accomplishable, but definitely that's a really that's a rather ambition task, but still accomplishable.
Maybe to give another perspective, I have done internships before my senior year. I think I started after junior. Junior. Gosh, I forgot all of the years. But yeah, after junior, I had my first internship, and then every year, including the one after the master before joining VMware. But definitely it was only for the summer for 3 to 4 months. And then since I had scholarship at AUBG, I needed to go and finish my studies because, you know, it's tied to some time period.
Okay.
So let's maybe go for the last one. Is it the last one?
This is the last one.
The last one. All right.
Let us know. Are we missing something in the chat box?
I think
Ina answered a couple of the questions in the chat box. So the attendees can see the answers typed. And maybe before we go, I just wanted to say a big thank you to the Career Center at AUBG and Rumiana specifically for all the support and help with making this event possible today. I know we were all hoping to have it as a live presentation in Blago, but thank you, Rumiana, for all your help.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a great pleasure, and we were super excited to do it. I remember when we were in university, all of us were going to the evening lectures in university, and we're thinking that the ones coming and presenting there are like the big shots. And we were extremely excited to have this opportunity to actually present in front of AUBG audience. Even though it was virtual, but still, as it was mentioned in the post, we are very much looking forward to continuing this partnership with the university, and we are willing to do a second presentation, which would be more hands-on, more directly related to our fields of expertise. So let us know about your thoughts first, and second, you can all connect with us in LinkedIn and let us know if you have any further questions. We are more than willing to answer anything.
All right, well, thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, have a great day ahead of you.